The sound of pages turning means it's time for another episode from the Meredith Library podcast studio, bringing you the library's latest news, information, and fun.
Good afternoon, Matthew.
Good afternoon, MaryBeth.
And good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to episode 52 of Check It Out here at the Meredith Library podcast studio. Matthew, it's been a while since we've been recording.
I know. I don't think people can tell because we kind of release on an even schedule. However, we haven't recorded together in a while, and as you just said, and I missed you, MaryBeth.
Same. Yeah, it's good to be back in the studio.
With our new studio setup, too. So hopefully people will hear us in even higher clarity. How about that?
High def.
Oh, I like that. All right. So we are going to talk about what we call here the Library 125 event, which is the 125th anniversary of our beautiful brick building here at the Meredith Public Library.
That's right. And this beautiful brick building was a gift from a former town resident named Benjamin M. Smith. Can you guess how much he paid for it?
Yes, well, I know. $10,000. Isn't that amazing to think that a whole building could be built for $10,000?
I know, right? It's so beautiful, too. And he made this generous donation in honor of his parents, John and Mary Smith.
Yes, and you know what? If people come to the library and they use the front historic door with the big stairs, or you can come in any other door and walk over there, there is a plaque still on the wall that has been there since 1901, and it's the dedication plaque saying that it was built in honor of his parents.
Wow. So we are turning 125 years old.
I guess we better explain that a little bit for people. So they may see other places where it mentions the library was established in 1882. And that is also true. So originally, the library was contained in other buildings and even in a room of people's homes, so as it was back in the late 1800s for many libraries. So around that time, obviously, buildings were being built dedicated to the purpose of being a library, and that's how this one came about in 1901. So this is the anniversary of this building, obviously 1901 to 2026 is the 125.
Which is a lot different than when we were actually established.
Right. It just gives us more reasons to celebrate different aspects of it, and of course, get a whole new 125th anniversary cake to share with everybody.
So many things to talk about. We have quite a celebration that's going to consist of a presentation by our very lovely library director, Erin Apostolos.
Yes, she's going to talk about the history of the library and give people information about how it was built and how it evolved over the years.
And speaking of building a library, my teen group has been very busy building a Lego replica of the library.
That is so amazing, and I've seen it in various stages. And I can't believe what a great job you guys are doing and how cool that looks.
Yeah, we actually, if I can go on and on about that, we actually made some bookcases and we ordered some True Life titled books in the miniature version to populate those shelves.
That is amazing.
And we also created minifigures of each teen in the teen zone. So each teen has a Lego figure likeness of themselves.
And do they have name tags or anything? Like, how do you recognize them besides the fact the hair color and the different characteristics?
Well, you can make your own custom minifigure and put your name on your shirt.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, they are very excited about that, by the way.
Oh, good. I bet.
We talked a little bit about the anniversary cake.
I always talk about cake.
I know. True.
And sweets and baked goods.
Right. Even though.
And ice cream.
Even though you're sweet enough as is.
Oh, thank you.
No added sugar. What's that all about? What kind of cake is it?
Well, it's going to be a cake that has the likeness of the library. People may remember the one we had with the Dr. Bard painting at the event where we were celebrating being the library of the year. We haven't mentioned that in a while.
Right.
Got to throw that in. So at that event, we had the cake that, you can get it from the grocery store or a bakery. And the picture is on the cake, but it's all edible.
Okay.
Like on the frosting. Yeah.
Right.
So there'll be one of the likeness of the library. And probably won't be that same one from the Dr. Bard painting. I'm thinking this is going to be one showing probably just the original part of the library.
Okay.
Which is what
nice.
we're celebrating, yeah.
That's great. Story time with a library-themed coloring page by Miss Guerin?
Yes, and that will be at 10 a.m. So we actually didn't mention that the full event or the rest of the event is 11 a.m., but the story time will be at the normal story time of 10 a.m.
Okay, great. I'm glad you pointed that out. We will also be having a slideshow retrospective of...
Yes, so people who are listeners definitely will remember us talking to Corolla and about Corolla of all kinds of archives here at the library in the previous 2 episodes. And Erin is using pictures from the archives for the slideshow. So there are pictures that go way back to, even the early 1900s. And then many pictures of events over the years. So that will be part of it. And the slideshow will also be accompanied by an original song about the Meredith Public Library.
Oh, I recently had a sneak peek.
Oh,
or
nice.
A sneak listen, should I say?
Yes.
And it was amazing.
I know, we don't want to give anything else away about that. People just have to come and hear the song that day.
And then we have artifacts from the early 1900s. What's that about?
Yeah, so this is really cool. The library and librarians over the years have kept records, obviously. And we still have the original ledgers where they were handwriting who was taking out a book and when it was due and all that kind of stuff. So we have these old artifacts or these old items that people can just see and touch and be a part of the history.
We should start saving our ledgers from when the power goes out and we have to go back to basics.
Yeah, really.
Right?
The spreadsheets.
Yep, we've had to do that. So just to recap, Saturday, June 6th, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., with the exception of Karen's story time, which will take place at 10.
Yes.
We want you all to come out and celebrate us, with us, when we turn 125.
Yes. Excellent. All right. We're looking forward to that. And since this is our special 125th anniversary, library anniversary episode here, I was going to say, can you imagine if it was the 125th anniversary of doing the podcast?
Oh, I don't know if we'll be there.
You never know with those advances in medical science. Just maybe.
Maybe.
So for the 125th anniversary, we are resurrecting the original article from the Meredith News in 1901, where the date was June 20th, and they were talking about the library opening ceremony on June 17th, 1901. So we have the original article, which we are sharing with the Meredith News so they can reprint that. And also we have it right here because you and I have recorded the entire thing. First, we wanted to talk about something that we had to kind of put together delicately, adding this into the newspaper article. And we're calling it a librarians/editor's note. So I'm going to read exactly how it's going to be sent to the newspaper. It says, for historical accuracy, we are providing the original article as it appeared in the June 20th, 1901 issue of the Meredith News. Over the past 125 years, several things have changed, including modern comma usage, phrasing, sentence structure, and capitalization.
Social mores have also evolved. That is very evident in this article in the attitudes expressed concerning Native Americans and their role in the settling of the Lakes region. These changes also demonstrate how our modern sensibilities reveal the irony concerning the concepts of enlightenment, justice, and liberty, which our forefathers held so dear, yet did not live up to in the manner in which we strive to do so today.
The Meredith News, June 20th, 1901. B.M. Smith's memorial gift. The dedication brings many distinguished guests to Meredith. The donor pays eloquent tribute to his parents. Senator Gallinger, Dr. Green, and other prominent men address our citizens. On the first day of November, 1854, Benjamin M. Smith, now a resident of Beverly, Mass., came to Meredith to reside. He was 21 years of age that day and came with his parents, John and Mary Smith, from Center Harbor. At that time, Mr. Smith Sr. was a well-to-do farmer, but later on, Lyon invested the savings of a lifetime in Concord and Montreal Railroad stock, and becoming frightened at the rumor that the road was in financial difficulties, and that stockholders were liable for double the amount of their stock, he disposed of the same to Hanson Beatty, who was Meredith's oldest resident at the present time, for $6.50, stocks that had cost him many hundreds of dollars.
To make matters worse, at that time, Benjamin was sick for 2 years and was unable to assist his father. In the year 1856, he told his father that he must do something, and the latter, realizing that the young man was not in condition to perform hard manual labor, he purchased a quantity of yarn, giving his note for travel from house to house and dispose of it. Within 30 days, the young man returned with the money to take up the note. And that, as the starting point in the career that has given the subject of this short sketch a handsome competence and enabled him to build a magnificent library in Meredith as a tribute to the memory of his parents, who taught him that industry and honesty were virtues that would bring him happiness and success.
The story of the building of the B.M. Smith Memorial Library has been told many times before in the news during the past 2 years. It was in the news several months ago that Mr. Smith's magnificent offer first appeared, and we have the pleasure this week of announcing that the building is completed, that the keys are in the hands of the trustees, and that it is now the property of the town of Meredith.
The weather Monday was all that could have been desired, one of those perfect June days extolled by the poets. It seemed as if nature had combined with the man to make success of the memorable event. At an early hour, the work of decorating business places and private houses was commenced, and before noon, pretty Meredith wore a holiday appearance.
The 1246 train from the south brought in the neighborhood of 100 visitors from Boston, Beverly, Salem, Gloucester, Haverhill, Nashua, and other cities. The news was unable to secure a list of the visitors, as the majority of them were in town only a few hours. Among them were Senator Jacob Gallinger, Dr. J.A. Green, Mayor John F. Hurley of Salem, Mayor Cole of Beverly, Editor W.O. Clow of Nashua, Reverend Lauren Webster, Honorable E.B. Jewell, John H. Smith, contractor, and Mr. Swan, architect.
The town hall where the exercises were held had been beautifully decorated, the hall being decorated with flags, ferns, and evergreens. At 2 o'clock, the hall was crowded to the doors, and many were unable to gain admittance. On the stage were seated the invited guests, the trustees of the library, and the selectmen.
B. Blaisdell acted as president of the day and introduced B.M. Smith, who gave a short sketch of his life. Mr. Smith stated that his father was a well-to-do farmer, but along in the 50s, he lost his money by an unfortunate speculation in the Concord and Montreal Railroad stock. The speaker paid a glowing tribute to his father and remarked that it had not been for his father's teachings, he would never have been able to go forth into the world and amass the money that enabled him to build the monument in memory of his beloved parents. At the conclusion of his remarks, he handed the keys of the building to First Selectman George F. Sanborn, who, in a neat speech, in turn, handed them over to Bradbury Dearborn, chairman of the Board of Trustees.
Senator Jacob H. Gallinger, in his eloquent remarks, paid a high compliment to the generosity of Smith, who left Meredith in 1856 a poor boy and who never forgot his home. He used his wealth to build a monument that would not only keep his memory green, but would be of the greatest benefit to the citizens of Meredith. The senator reminded those present that on June 17th, the Battle of Bunker Hill was fought and that New Hampshire furnished more men than any other state in the Union.
Major J.A. Green of Laconia was the next speaker. He was in his happiest vein and spoke as follows. Mr. Chairman, and ladies and gentlemen, I deem it a proud distinction to have been invited to occupy for a few moments this platform, graced by these prominent gentlemen and surrounded by this intelligent and enlightened assembly.
You have met today, my friends, to assist in the dedicating to the public use the noble and generous gift of your former townsman, the magnificent structure which is to be the future home of literary treasures and priceless volumes.
The grand and imposing memorial will henceforth not only beautify and adorn your charming village, but must, of necessity, lend added impetus to educational matters, exerting on the minds of both old and young the brightening and cheerful influence of the midday sun, the refreshing and invigorating effects of a summer shower, marking an epoch in the history of Meredith, which will conduce in no small degree towards the progress and advancement of educational and intellectual attainments.
Our forefathers found here and hereabouts a vast wilderness which they fearlessly penetrated, armed with the Holy Bible, the rifle, and the axe. From the sacred book they gained encouragement and inspiration. With the rifle they protected their families from the savage and treacherous wolf, and still more savage and treacherous Indian. With the axe they felled the trees, and soon the valleys blossomed with rich fields of waving grain. Log mills appeared upon the streams, and schoolhouses on the hillside.
The hillsides and lovely valleys, the lordly mountains and stately hills, the smiling lakes and picturesque streams, the gorgeous sun and mellow moon are with us still in all their glory and grandeur. But, oh, how altered the conditions, how changed the affairs of men. Look around us. Meditate for a moment. No longer is heard the terrifying howl of the wolf or the murderous war-whoop of the Indian. We hear the peaceful whistle from yon mill, melodious and harmonious chimes from neighboring Belfry High, and the busy voice of business activity.
No longer does the rattle of the lumbering stagecoach mingle with the buzz of Grandma's spinning wheel. Now the thunder of the iron steed rushing with the lightning speed over threads of steel mingle with the hum of the countless spindles controlled by intricate machinery, propelled by giant power.
No longer is found the log schoolhouse and lyceum which served well their purpose in early days. They have given way to those modern, up-to-date institutions, the latest of which is the Benjamin M. Smith Memorial Library. May its substantial walls and artistic roof long stand to preserve and protect its precious contents.
May its influence enlarge, its usefulness expand, its volumes multiply, its visitors increase as the wheels of time, year by year, roll on. May its portals remain invitingly open to all who hunger for enlightenment, that they may partake of the intellectual feast of good things therein abundantly provided, to all who thirst for information, that they may drink deep and exhilarating draughts from this fascinating and enchanting fountain of knowledge and entertainment, invigorating and refreshing draughts of history and travel, science and art, classics and fiction.
And may old glory, which is conspicuously absent from the library staff today, float proudly therefrom, that starry flag for which our forefathers fought, that magnanimous and sacred banner, glorious emblem of enlightenment, justice, and liberty.
Mrs. George Gilman then read an original poem and was followed by Mayor Cole of Beverly, Mayor Hurley of Salem, the Reverend Lauren Webster, Principal of Holderness School, Honorable E.B. Jewell of Laconia, Judge Taft, and Mr. Eaton of Gloucester, and others. During the afternoon, Selectman Fred H. Smith introduced the following resolution, which was unanimously adopted. Whereas we desire to express to Benjamin M. Smith our appreciation of his magnificent gift to the town of Meredith, a gift so substantial and liberal in its proportions as to endure for the benefit of this and future generations. Resolved that we deeply appreciate the generosity, the public spirit, and love for the town in which the giver passed his earlier years, which prompted so great a gift.
Resolved that in the selection of the site of the building, in the beauty and solidity of the structure, and in the completeness of its equipment, we recognize the fine taste and liberal hand of our benefactor. Resolved that pledge ourselves properly to use and care for the gift, and gratefully to remember the giver in future years. Then came the inspection of the library, after which the Massachusetts visitors returned to their homes on the 4:49 train.
The interior of the building is finished in brown ash. The The building contains a reading room, conversation hall, delivery room, trustees' room, and 2 apartments for books. The cases, when all have been placed in position, will have a capacity of 24,000 books. A handsome town clock adorns the front of the building. In the hall is a bronze tablet inscribed as follows: presented to the town of Meredith in memory of his parents, John and Mary Smith.
Several portraits grace the walls of the 2 front rooms of the first floor, viz. Judge S.W. Rollins, ex-Governor Rollins, Benjamin M. Smith, Bradbury Robinson, the Reverend Eustace Erskine, and Dr. George Sanborn. 2 very handsome tables lend attractiveness to the reading room, presents from C. Henry Adams of Boston and Charles Francis Gilman, a well-known summer visitor. The building also contains a splendidly fitted toilet room, is supplied with electric lights and heated hot air. A fireproof vault has been placed in the building, and the town records will be kept there hereafter.
A handsome electric clock presented by the Reverend J. Erskine has been placed in the reading room. George Swan of Beverly, Mass. Was the architect, and Mr. Smith of Lancaster the contractor. The fresco work was done by Mr. Sullivan of Manchester, and the woodwork finishing by Mr. Dow of Meredith. The heating and plumbing were installed by contractors from Meredith. A brick walk leads from the road to both entrances of the building. This was constructed by Mr. Smith, and the town is to lay a brick walk in front of the library at a cost of $300 very soon.
So wasn't that article amazing when you go back and kind of hear the way everything was described and how excited the townspeople were over the building and the library itself?
Yeah, it kind of gave like a little glimpse to that day, and it's fun to be celebrating that again.
The article is so detailed, it makes you feel like you're there and you're part of it.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, that was really cool. We are going to now share the poem with everybody. So the article mentioned that Mrs. George Gilman wrote a poem and read it herself that day at the dedication. The other thing, though, I just want to point out, I thought was interesting, is the title of it, as listed in the newspaper that day, was The Poem. Like, it doesn't say Meredith Library opening poem or something.
Yeah.
I just thought that was interesting.
Just the poem.
Yeah, the poem. Maybe once you know that one, no other poem matters. Yes, I don't know.
Maybe.
Anyway, here it is. In the bright and joyous dawning of a century we stand, and watch the tide of knowledge sweeping o'er this mighty land, over city, valley, mountain, o'er village, river, lake, expanding our human hearts and minds, and bidding men awake.
Cast out old superstitions and throw prejudice away. Behold the tree of knowledge that is given us today. Make scholars of our children who are eager to embrace each needed to progress in the educational race.
The scales of ignorance are falling from the eyes of men. That hand that wields the sword today shall trust unto the pen. The onward march of knowledge shall be felt in every land, and each downtrodden nation shall awake and understand.
That tide hath passed o'er Meredith, and left its imprint here, in benefits that all may share in many a coming year. It touched the heart of one man, and it did not touch in vain. His generous soul responded to our individual gain.
Behold this handsome structure, our new public library, one golden step of progress in our village history. The blessings of the gift shall last, the giver's name live on, in other hearts and memories when we are dead and gone.
A treasure spot this hall shall be, wherein each one may find the accumulated wisdom that sages left behind. A storehouse for the garnered wealth of centuries of thought, of great minds past and present, and achievements they have wrought.
All the ologies and isms, art and scientific lore, and wondrous gem from fiction land, and poetry galore. The histories of all ages we shall find upon the shelves of foreign lands and people, of our country and ourselves.
Within these walls we oft shall spend full many a pleasant hour, In pleasure and in profit too, for knowledge giveth power, increaseth intellectual force, and hearts and souls uplift. God bless the giver, bless the deed, and oh God bless this gift.
Wow, that was quite a poem, wasn't it?
It truly was.
You can totally feel like how excited the author was about this, and how seriously too they took the concept of having a library and what it was going to do for the residents of the town then and all the way to us in the future.
Right. Knowledge, the piece about knowledge is power.
Mm-hmm. And still a valid idea to live by.
Yes, indeed.
All right. Well, MaryBeth, that wraps up our special 125th anniversary edition. So
I'm so excited to be, what a great way to celebrate, summer and summer at the library, summer reading, and the birthday of the building.
Right. It's a great kickoff, I think, to the whole season.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Well, MaryBeth, it was wonderful speaking with you and recording with you once again.
That's right. Good to be here. Goodbye, Matthew.
Bye, MaryBeth. Goodbye, everyone. Podcast music titled Daytime TV Theme by Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com. Licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 4.0.
Podcast copyright 2026, Meredith Library Podcast Studio.